everybody. Melissa here from Cruise Shop Save. Good to see you all. We've been gone for a while, but we've got some great people to interview lined up this season. So, in just a moment, I'm going to bring my good friend Tom up. And apparently, I'm going to try and record on Instagram, go live on Instagram here. Oh, it's saying I'm live. Goodness me. Heavens to Betsy, isn't that wonderful technology? Anyway, just before we meet Tom, let me tell you, Cruise Shop Save is the one place to go to get all your cruise port information. We're not bound by any big advertisers. We just give you the information, plain and simple. Oh, it's saying it's got problems streaming to Instagram. If you end on it, then it sits back. No, oh, why are you saying that? Oh, I'm not surprised. So if you, I don't know what I did. It's asking me what did I do. I have no idea. Let me just check here how it works. No idea. I need to figure this out another time. I'm too busy. We've got Tom here. I'm going to talk to Tom. Okay, I'm going to remove that. Remove. That's it. Done. Right. I'll check that out later. Okay. So we're really excited because Tom's coming up. He's just got off of the Regent Navigator, beautiful ship. It's not really the ship we're going to talk about today. It's actually the destination. So here he is, my fabulous friend, Tom. How are you?
Ooh, hey everybody. Hello, my dear. So good to see you always. Oh my gosh, your smile
Good to
just
see
lights up
you.
everything. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So I, like a lot of people, just follow you on Instagram, and we're going to show some of these amazing pictures. And while you were on your last ship, the Regent Navigator we just talked about, I just couldn't believe the places you were going. I actually had never heard of, and I've been in the cruise industry like 30 years. So what we're going to talk about today is some of the ports. Is that okay that I pick your brain a little bit?
Because this last year, there are ports that I had no idea existed. And some of these
Oh,
smaller
you
ships
too.
went there. No, yeah. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been going to the Mediterranean for, gosh, 20 years, since 1989. I started.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were some ports that I was
Amazing.
unaware of. Yeah, beautiful. Oh
And the
my gosh,
history, and
breathtaking.
we're going to dive in. Yeah, we're going to dive into that in just a moment. I just want to say hello to everyone that's watching us right now. Hello and welcome to the show. If you are watching, Tom is open for questions. So, and I don't know if I'll be able to answer any questions, but if you have got any questions about any of these ports that Tom is talking about, then just stick them in the comments and we'll try and get to them as soon as we possibly can. So I've got some questions here, but why don't we just start? There's so many ports in the Mediterranean that you can go to, but predominantly these ports that I'd never heard of is Turkey and Greece. Why do you think that? So some of them was, which we'll get into in just a moment, was Bozcaada in Turkey, and another one was, oh, you're going to have to help me out with this, Monvasia in Greece, right?
Mononvasia. Yes,
Monvasia, okay. And
that
so,
is where time stands
yeah,
still in
so
this place.
what?
It
Do these
was, I
ports
mean,
only accommodate? Because Regent Navigator is not a big ship. Is it just for the smaller boutique ships?
yes. I'm not sure how many I don't think any of the big ships go to these places. I don't think they could handle it.
Right.
But ships, probably 1,200 or less, they can fit in
Mm,
there. They're small ports, but these
mm.
are the ports that are so intimate and they have such amazing history that nobody knew really, I never knew existed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
fascinating history. I learned so much about the Byzantine era, the Ottoman Empire, the Romans, the Greeks. The Romans were in everything. Okay, so there's always
Yeah. It's true.
fighting wars and everything going on, but eventually the settlements there, how they built these castles would be impossible to do today. But the
Wow.
limestone and the rock and the marble that they had, how thick they were, and how they built, it's just unfathomable how they did it back then. And I'm talking 2,000 years ago, 3,000. Just how do they do this? It's mind blowing, and it takes you and it captivates you in every way. I'm talking about these smaller places, even in Turkey, the Hagia Sophia, the cistern, the everything.
Mm.
Italy, the Mediterranean will take you in. For any of you who haven't been there and are going, it really is, I'm going to say, life changing, because it really does give you a whole perspective
Mm,
of history, and it
right.
just educates you so much, and it embraces you in so many ways. And that's what I really get out. So I always get excited about going to the Mediterranean. I could do it forever, but I'm glad I'm not.
Mm.
I'm glad I'm back now. I need a break, and I'm
Back
going
home.
back again.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So there's a lot in the news right now. This is quite controversial. There's quite a lot in the news about local people actually demonstrating against so many cruise ships and so many tourists coming. I mean, the biggest one is
yep,
Venice, like and some Spanish ports as well.
Barcelona. Barcelona is
Barcelona,
a big
yeah,
one.
and
Yeah,
and so it's so refreshing to hear that there are these wonderful ports that can accommodate the smaller ships, and they're not really small. I'm saying small. They're like, what, as you say, 1,000 to 1,200 capacity. Things like ships like Oceania Region, Viking are really good at going to these
yeah.
places. And so when people read this in the headlines, it's quite soul destroying, because when you think of Venice and you think of Barcelona, you think, oh my God, so beautiful, going to go to Mediterranean, but there's alternatives, right?
There, and thank goodness there are alternatives, because I'm just, you
Mm,
brought up Venice, and I want to talk about Venice. Venice is just, my first time there was 1989, and romantic,
yeah,
my gosh, it doesn't get more romantic than that.
beautiful.
But
I
it
know.
always will always be. And they had to stop the cruise ships going in there, but still, the tourists. I went in November, and I was on Seaboard then.
Mm,
And I thought it was going to be a small little, oh, I'm going to walk around. It was massive tourism. So it's a go-to
mm,
place. You just
yeah.
have to be prepared. But visually,
Hmm.
uh, again, you just walk around and you'll trip because you're looking at everything. Um,
Yeah.
or you'll run into somebody do the same thing. But
Yeah, I
it's
know.
something there is
I tell
insane.
you, a good time to go to Venice is in the winter, honestly.
Absolutely. But
Because,
it's, and I was there,
yeah,
and it was still packed.
no
But I mean, if
ships,
you
but
go,
it's
you know,
beautiful.
you're saying this is absolutely true. The Mediterranean is no longer seasonal.
No, it's
It's
not.
becoming year round, and
Yeah,
and I don't want this to just if the only, there's so many people, the only time they can travel is in the summer, and if
sure.
you want to go to Europe, my gosh, go. Just be prepared
Mm,
of the massive tourism and the intense heat that you will
mm-hmm,
get into. And as long as you're prepared
mm-hmm,
and you know what you're going to
mm-hmm,
see and what you're going to experience, then, by all means do it. But yes, if you can go in the wintertime or in this early spring
mm,
or mid to late fall, it's just, this is when
yeah,
most people who really want to go. So I don't know
exactly.
if that helps anyone or not, but it really does make a
Yeah,
difference in
absolutely. I
the
couldn't agree
time that you
more. And I think totally. And I think that a lot of the time people will look at a cruise, they'll pick their favorite cruise line, they've had a good time on there before, and they'll pick it. But what they don't do is look at how many ships. Do you know there's a great app called Cruise Legends? It's a great app.
okay.
And the one thing that this app does, it has every single cruise ship itinerary. So you can put in Venice
Oh
on the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
day
yeah.
your cruise is going to be there before you book your cruise and see how many mega ships are in the same day. And then you can
Yep.
decide, is that the cruise I want to pick? And then pick another cruise. It's such a great app. It's totally free to download. I know the guy that runs it. He's so great. It's such a great app. Do you have it? You said you have
I
this
do
app.
have it, and I'm going to tell you, it
Yeah.
really. But I mean, I've been doing it. I know the ins and outs, no matter how many ships are in. But this will help so much. People save time, especially if you want to go
Yeah.
shopping, which you have to go in the Mediterranean. You have to go shopping. My gosh,
Absolutely. You
everybody.
have to shop. Yeah, for
But I
sure.
am going to
Yeah.
give some good advice if you're there with a lot of ships, and we'll get into
Yeah.
Turkey at some point. But uh,
Yeah.
if you're, depending on if you're taking a tour, you're taking a tour. You're going to do that. But if your purpose in the port you're going to is to do your own thing and shop, get off soon and shop in the morning.
Early.
The
Yeah.
Mediterranean, how they work with their prices. Italy, Greece,
Yeah.
Turkey, especially. Turkey is its own separate place, which I love. It's one
Yeah.
of my favorite countries. But that's a
Me
separate thing to
too.
talk about over the others.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
And just get there before the massive crowd gets there, because
Yeah.
this is when a lot of the deals are taken, the first sale, things like this, and you won't be so crowded or packed. And the
Right.
service you're going to get is always really good
Mm,
that time of the morning.
definitely.
Or late afternoon, depending on what time your ship sails. Some other ships may
Mm,
sail out before yours, but it just
mm.
depends. That's the shopping aspect. The other thing, and stop me if I'm saying too much or going too fast.
Not at
The
all.
short,
This is great
the
information.
the shore excursions on like Viking and Oceania, these other ultra luxury ships that are smaller passengers, a lot of the tours are included. So great, okay.
Mm,
If you're on some of
mm,
these bigger
perfect.
ships where all the shore excursions you have to pay extra for, they're very expensive. And because they can charge
Mm,
that, because this is how you're going to see it. But you are
mm,
taken care of
mm.
from start to finish. You don't have to worry, but you're going to pay for it. It is possible to do your research ahead of time before you come to whatever port you're going to. There's so many other options out there to
Hmm.
save sometimes half the price and see more in a shorter amount of time
Yeah, I
with
agree.
local tour escorts. And so just be aware of that. And some people are
Mm,
skeptical. If you're too skeptical, then no, pay and go with the shore excursions, because
right,
it's you can go in peace and relax. The ship's not going to leave without you. So, if you're on one of
right.
those, but they both
Yeah,
have benefits.
yeah,
So I've done both. Well,
yeah,
I've gone as an escort, and then I've also gone with friends, and we hired taxis from different places all over the world.
yeah.
Uh, but the thing is, when you're going where there's a lot of ships in, the pricier it's going to be on your own. So
Right.
you can work with them.
Yeah,
You have to be aggressive, and it's your first time. Go with somebody that is aggressive, and meet. This is what is
right.
great about going on a cruise, that you'll meet people. I mean, if you're going on a cruise, you've got to want to meet other people, and there's people out there you'll
Absolutely.
meet, and that's the joy of cruising. One thing, and so many people, especially on some of the smaller cruises, the intimacy. It's all about your relationships that you build with passengers, and so many of them they stay in touch for the rest of their lives, and they go on cruises together. The bigger cruises,
Mm,
it's a lot more mass of amount of people, but they both have their benefits. But just be aware that there are ways of saving money, especially on the big ships, for what they're
mm-hmm,
charging for these
mm-hmm.
tours. So, and those are
Yeah,
usually in the bigger ports.
yeah,
There's
exactly. I totally agree.
like going into Greece as an example. What I always do, I've done the tours, but I love, you can walk 20 minutes off the ship,
Yeah,
depending on where you're docked. Usually there's a shuttle bus that'll take you to the front gate, and then
right.
you can walk, and it's like 20 minutes to the train station, and the train station will take you into Monastiraki. That is
Mm.
the city center. Everything is there. My God, it is amazing. You have
So which
about
port is it?
150
Which port?
restaurants. This is
Wow, which
Athens. This is Athens.
oh, Athens. Yeah, yeah,
Piraeus.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Piraeus. So
yeah.
in Greece, and
Piraeus.
that's
Yes,
if you're on the ship in the Mediterranean, you're going to go to Piraeus. Usually,
of course.
depending
Get
on
on. Yeah,
the
you're gonna go
itinerary,
there.
but
Yeah,
that's generally a
yeah,
vortex that you're going to go to, and you can
yeah,
walk. You can get off and walk, and take the train,
yeah.
and it's like it's 2.5 euros round trip, and
Oh my
the
God,
restaurants there,
two
the
and a half
shopping is
euros round
insane.
trip.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
and it's
That's
just
crazy
it
money.
takes you
That's
right there.
insane.
So yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. See, I've
So
never
these are
done
the
that.
ins and outs that
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I do from now on. And now I've got friends there, so I'll go and take the train in and meet them, in the city
Meet your
center,
friends. Yeah.
and we go from there. We'll have lunch, and wow, amazing. That's
Then
Athens, and
two
that's
and a half
Piraeus.
euros to get
So
back. Brilliant. Well,
I know
another
you can't beat it.
so it can't beat it. So another great Greek port. So let's get into the ports. And what we're going to do is just a quick overview because
Okay.
you've got so much information. We're going to put out some more videos. But here's you in I love this picture. This is you in Santorini. I mean, good God,
Oh my
look
gosh,
at
yeah.
that
That
view.
That says it all. Yeah. Listen, there's
Yeah.
no place that you're going to get a view anywhere in the world like Santorini.
Oh, I know.
It just that's spectacular. And we were only there during the day. I've been there for the sunset, which that is probably one of the most awe-inspiring places on earth to watch a sunset. But this just says it right there. The smile is real. And we were only there, we got there at
Yeah.
9 a.m. and we left at 6. But we took the funicular up. I will not do that donkey
Yeah.
ride. A lot of people think that is a novelty.
No.
You go for it. Go right ahead. And you're going to
No, I
smell like
don't.
donkey
I
when you
tell
get back.
people not to
Yeah.
do that. Don't do the
I
donkey
don't
ride for
recommend it.
lots of
It's hard
reasons.
on those.
All
It's hard
sorts
on
of
the donkeys
reasons.
too, but yeah.
It is
So, but when you get up there, just spectacular.
beautiful. And
And that's a
that's
place that you can
you're in a
get.
restaurant.
Oh
Yeah.
my
You're in
gosh.
a
Every
restaurant there.
restaurant's
You're
got
having a
a
meal.
view.
Like this every restaurant's got a view. There's a restaurant called Sphinx. I don't know if it's still there.
Yes, I
I
know
used to
that.
always
Yeah,
go
it
to
is.
Sphinx.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it still there? Okay. That's a great
Yeah.
restaurant. And
Yeah.
that's where you want to have lunch. Like that's what I mean about planning your days. Some places I'd say, oh, just go back to the ship for lunch. But some places it is a like a destination in itself to have
Yeah.
lunch somewhere like this. Well, another so let's but I mean Santorini also can be busy. I saw a video of you on the funicular. It didn't look so busy. So how I mean you talked earlier about navigating
That
the
was in the spring
crowds.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it busy the day
Um,
you were
Same
there?
with, no, we were the only ship there. We were the only ship
You were
in.
so
Can you believe
lucky.
that? Now, I
Fabulous.
know, and that's why I was there most of the time to stay up there because it was still busy. Okay,
Yeah.
it was still busy. There were locals and there were people flying in still because, and this was um, first part of May.
First
First
part
part
of
of
May.
May, we were there.
Yeah, you were
And
lucky.
yeah, I
But
mean,
that's where that
that's easy.
app comes in useful. Like I mean, that's the cruises
You
you want to be
go,
booking in, you know,
yes, you imagine, because I've been there on some of the other big ships, and to get in line to get that funicular, you're going to stand in line for a long time, and it's going to be very
long
hot in
time.
the summer. You've got to be
It is
prepared.
hot. Yes.
Uh, you've
Yeah.
got to wear your sunbonnet, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
and sunscreen. You just have to understand there's a long line to take that funicular back down. So just keep
Yeah.
in mind that timing. I walked right on and I walked right back, you know, after lunch.
Great. Yeah, I
So
know. I mean,
but these are the ins
yeah,
and
and you've
outs
also got to
when to
time
go.
it to get back to the ship on time too, because
Yeah,
if you give yourself half an hour, it's not going to cut it. Because if there's a lot of ships in port, you're going to be in the line. Because yeah, you get your ticket, return ticket going up, but then you got to get in the line to get back down. So
yep.
yeah, so that is potentially a busy port. Now the next port is Bozcaada in Turkey. This is you.
Oh,
And actually I have, which you look amazing. Is this one of the castles that you're talking about?
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, this was built like in 1100s. Um,
Wow.
and this is what was amazing. Okay. I was the only person there at that moment. However,
Oh my
then I found
God.
some other guy, peasant walking around. I don't know if he was from the ship or not, but he like ventured into my video, I think at the end. I don't know, but I did. He just popped out. I thought I was the only one there. That place was sacred. I mean, you can see you
Wow.
feel something had taken place there, and it's very Game of Thrones in a way, but it was
Wow.
such peace,
Let me show.
tranquility, and the sound of the wind going through, like the history was like swirling around, and wow.
I'm going to play the video now. Let me see.
But I mean, what a playground!
Wow. Absolutely
I know. Can you
fantastic.
imagine?
So,
That was it. That was it. It was just the two of us. That was it.
oh
And
wow. And so
wow,
that wasn't a tour. Did you just walk there?
I just did my own thing. Yeah. I mean, it caught. The thing is, I forgot to have Turkish lira to get in, and I
Oh,
think this
shoot.
helped because we were the only ship there. I walked by, and the guy, I said, he says, "Go, go, go, just go." So I got in for free. Yeah, and our ship
Amazing.
tours, and I saw when I left, I saw a tour coming from our ship, but and I heard a little bit of the history of it too. But I just dwelled at the moment of having that to yourself.
You could feel it.
It's
Yeah.
inspiring. Yeah, it's
That's
hard to put into
amazing.
words, but
So this is one of the quieter
just
ports that people should look out for and to book to go because you get that. Oh,
you
Greece
will.
is just so fantastic,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that not too many ships go there because it can't really support that many. Uh, but the people were so wonderful and gracious and friendly and not pushy, you know, not trying to
Mm,
sell, but the
mm.
fruits. I think I sent you the vegetables, the produce.
You
My
did. I didn't
gosh.
show it. We're gonna play it
Oh,
when we do a deep dive into
okay.
this port. We're gonna do a deep dive. Yeah.
Because that put, oh my gosh, it puts Whole Foods to shame. So,
I know, right? The
um,
colors,
and
amazing.
yes, so I had to buy a tomato, and I bought some dates and a few other things because they just looked so good, and they were amazing. Oh my gosh,
Oh
the
wow.
juicy it was.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, that's what
Purely
really.
organic. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so we got that port, which we're definitely going to talk about some more, and then we've got another lovely Greek port that I'd never heard of is Momvasia. So this is another one of you,
Monomvasia. Oh,
Monomvasia, enjoying that gorgeous
this is
view.
probably my favorite because it was so
Yeah.
unexpected. A castle built on the hill, and it goes 1,100 feet up. Um,
Wow.
but the views from every they've got built into the rock these bed and breakfasts, and it's
Mm, really?
you know you talk about going to a place for a honeymoon or
Mm.
going with a couple and just one of the most romantic places because the sun is positioned to have a beautiful sunrise and a beautiful sunset. So, and the
Really?
water is so crystal clear. I lived in
Wow.
St. Thomas for 14 years, and it was equivalent, if not even better, in the water for that area. Um,
Gosh.
just, and the
And then
cutest
and then
little shops, cafes, bistros, and
oh,
small little places built in the rock, and great souvenirs. This was I bought some souvenirs. I'm not a souveniry type of,
right.
but this was the place to get some souvenirs. You want to. It just
Right.
makes you.
I
And
mean, it's
great coffee.
questionable. We were talking earlier, like what is like souvenir just conjures up so much for me, like made in China, plastic, just fake stuff. But I think when you're somewhere like that, you're gonna
Yeah,
get really
um,
authentic, beautiful things.
there were because there were handmade jewelry stores, hand woven tapestries, and
Wow.
little tchotchkes too that I haven't found anywhere else. Well, I did, but I still just to buy it there and say I got it there, which I did,
Yeah.
was just that's part of the memory. Jewelry
Yeah.
is the story of your life, and your memory, what you buy it from. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's one of the
Absolutely.
joys of it. So
And
I
I
would
love
definitely
this
go back there.
picture. Yeah, well,
Yeah, it
I
was a
think
windy
I want to go
day.
back there.
I can't believe
I love
the
that. What a
photo
great shot.
captivated us.
Just
Yeah.
caught it. But you can see here what you're
He caught
talking
it, my
about, all these
photographer.
gorgeous. Oh, cool. That's lucky. But you can see all these beautiful buildings. So these are all like bed and breakfasts and little cafes and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, just enchanting. That I keep. That's what the Greek
Great word.
islands are about.
Great word. Yeah.
Enchantment. Oh,
Mm, hmm. Now the most enthusiastic, because you and I are on WhatsApp a lot, and the most
yeah.
enthusiastic um, I've ever heard you is when you went to Tunisia and
Oh my
you went on
gosh.
a tour
It
with this
was
guy.
this tour guide. It was
Yeah,
this tour guide. Did I send you a video of him talking?
I've got the video, and anybody who's watching, we are going to we're going to do another video, and we're going to show you some footage of this guy on this tour. So tell us about the tour that you went on, because it's pretty deep, very deep.
Okay. Um, I've always heard of Carthage. Well, no. The first, believe it or not, I've heard of Carthage, but I wasn't really, and I knew it had to do with some suffering. And don't laugh, but the time I really heard about it was in the movie Gladiator, where they referred to Carthage in one of the battles. And Carthage
Ah,
is the
right.
place where the human suffering took place of these little babies and these little graveyards where they put these babies um, that were just, they would use them as sacrifices uh, back in that time.
Gosh.
And the story and I wasn't prepared to be so drawn in. And the way this tour
Mm,
guide talked about it, he was hysterical, for one thing. He was funny. He's the best tour guide in the history of all my cruising that I've ever come across. Nobody was
wow.
prepared for his ability to captivate everyone. He went to these tour guides
Wow.
go to school for this. You put him on a world stage, he'll smash it. You know, just talking
Wow.
to people about Tunisia and the human suffrage that took place there, and how it's come to where it is today. Unfortunately, we did hear about that terrible tragedy that happened. I think 15 years ago. Um, the There was a shooting that took place and killed many people on the beaches, and
Yes. Yes. In
because of
Tunisia. Yes.
corruption with the
Yep.
elections and all this. But now
Yep.
that's and they have taken so long to get over that. They are just
Yep.
now last year and this year beginning to get great amount of tourism. It's going to be a popular place because it's beautiful,
Oh, good. Gorgeous.
and
Yeah.
just yeah, it really is. I had no idea. Nobody was prepared for that, and the tour guide just put everybody in awe, and that was probably one of the
Mm.
most touching moments of my Mediterranean trip
Mm.
that I was just
You
completely
know,
unprepared for.
it often is, and it's you are speaking about something quite macabre, and but I will tell you the things that stick out in my mind are things like that. So we went to Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. I'll never forget it
No,
ever.
you don't.
I'll never forget that tour,
Mm-mm.
and it's sad and it's tragic, but it needs to be remembered. And these stay with you. I want, it's important that we visit these places and that we learn about these tragedies that have happened in the past, and we have to. And it's moving. It's very, very moving. Yeah.
Yeah, I could go on, and I don't want to spend time because there's so much other
Yeah.
places to talk about. But I learned so much there. The Roman Empire again, how the Romans had captivated, and how many Romans
Yeah.
moved to Tunisia because they didn't have to pay taxes. Because
Oh,
Rome, the
wow.
taxes were so expensive, and Tunisia is a very wealthy area.
Wow.
Where we went to, the beautiful mansions, houses,
Wow.
because they didn't have to pay the taxes. So they were
Oh,
smart. They got
wow.
out of Italy, and it's not that far. So they just shifted, and we're talking,
Yeah.
500 years ago, 600 years ago, you know,
Yeah.
and it's been since that like that since then.
Wow.
But now Tunisia is just coming into its own again, and it will become more
Oh,
and more
good.
popular as a tourist destination. So
Mm,
that is a
good.
go-to. That's a
Good.
place that, yeah, but you have to have a tour of the Carthage
Right.
itself
So
because
that's the
it's
place you book a tour. So it's like,
absolutely.
you should really get in touch with us because we help all cruisers with all of this. How many ships are docked in port? What time do you arrive? What time do you leave? Should you book with a ship or should you go on your own? These are all things that we can help
Oh,
people with. So if they
that's a
get in touch with
huge
us, they
important
can book a
point. This
free.
will save so much
Absolutely.
money and maximize your time.
Absolutely.
Really taking in the monuments and have time for shopping. You want to have time for shopping, and there's certain places I
Yes,
recommend shopping
exactly.
over more. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, let's move on then to. I haven't got any pictures of Cairo, but what did you think of Cairo when
You
you visited
didn't get any
Egypt?
pictures of Cairo? I
I
didn't
have
think.
got the pictures, but I'm going to save them for the when we
Okay,
do that
save those
port, when we cover
because
that port. Yeah.
that's worth doing all on its own because wow.
Okay, we'll do that.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. Okay.
Okay, we'll park Cairo. So anybody interested in Cairo, we're going to link if it. We're going to
I mean, I can
record it,
talk a
and
little
then.
bit. I can talk a little bit if
Oh,
you
cool.
want,
Give
but
us give us the
sure.
highlights. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the whole city is highlighted. Now, I have a friend there, and that helped. So I hung out with him,
Oh, good.
and that
Yeah,
was my
yeah.
third time there. Okay, so it helps having
Okay.
somebody, but it's also worth hiring somebody there too to show you around. There's so many people that are so knowledgeable, and they'll take you to the markets, which is a must do. You'll see the pictures on that. You'll use that next
Yeah.
time, and they're
Uh-huh.
amazing. And the pyramids, yes. The pyramids, believe it or not, you can do the pyramids in a half day. It does not take long to do the
Oh,
pyramids.
really? Okay.
Ride a camel and a horse. I did it and we weren't trying to rush, in about 4 hours.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
I didn't
Yeah, because it's
climb
right
up. I didn't.
there.
Yeah, I didn't want to climb up to the top of one of the pyramids. Maybe 30 years ago, I might have tried that, and that was still. But no, but I rode the camels, rode the horse. Just it was spectacular. Saw the Sphinx, and and it's right there. It's not far from it, so it's kind of
Yeah.
spectacular to see. And it's always nice in the
Right.
evening at dusk, just before the sun sets. I sent you a picture and
Really?
video from the tower, and
Okay.
that's to see in the evening and to see the pyramids at night, because they always like the pyramids at night. That's surreal.
Mm,
I mean, seeing the
that's
pyramids at
surreal.
night
I'd
is
like
one
to
thing.
see that.
I
Mm,
almost recommend
I'd like to
seeing
see
them at
that.
night. It's much more
Right.
spectacular, and the story,
And
and
do
even the
most
locals get into it, and they get emotional when they're talking about it. It's just
really,
really, yeah, oh yeah,
really,
it was fun.
that's cool. Yeah. And do the cruise ships stay so people can do
No,
that? Or again, should they do their research and make sure it's a late sail or an overnight in Cairo?
it's almost always an overnight. It's always an overnight if
Ah,
you're going to Cairo. Yeah, because
interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
but you can't
Okay.
dock in Cairo. We docked in Alexandria,
Ah, of
and which
course.
is it's at least 3 hours away from Cairo.
Oh,
Or we
that's
docked
far.
in, I cannot remember the name, it's on the Suez Canal. We docked there, beautiful, beautiful city. And then we took
Right.
buses, and that was at least 3.5 hours each way,
Right.
to go
Oh,
into
okay.
Cairo. So you really can't dock unless you're doing like a river cruise.
Right. The Nile.
And yeah, there it is, the Nile. That's something
Perfect.
going into, yeah,
That
to
is
Luxor. But
amazing. Yeah.
what I did last time I was there, I have a friend of mine. So he hired a car for me and got me all the way to Cairo. And he knows a lot about history in Cairo. And he got me there for $30 one way. thirty
Wow.
dollars, a 3 hour car
That's
ride.
so cheap. That's
I'd like, yeah.
insane. Was that
So because
was that
usually,
mates rates or yeah, was
yeah,
that
well, that
like
was
a
like a
deal
local, I
or
think it was a
that's the
local
price?
rate. Yeah, that was a deal. Yeah.
Oh.
Um,
Oh,
and
okay.
the driver was very nice. He stopped and got me some coffee, which was amazing. My gosh, the coffee was
Oh, I
so good
bet.
there.
Blew your socks off
Oh,
probably.
yes.
Good
Always
coffee.
get coffee and tell them to make it slightly sweet, slightly sweet. It will
Right.
keep you going
Good
through
tip.
the day. My gosh,
I
yeah.
love a good
So,
coffee. I love a good
uh,
coffee. I don't like Turkish
yeah,
coffee though. Ugh,
I
I don't
don't
like
care for
Turkish.
Turkish coffee either. I like the Turkish tea much
I
better,
like
and that
Turkish
keeps
tea.
that's a nice
Yes.
wicker. Yeah, but
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to do more on Cairo, so stay tuned. But let's move on now to because and let's move on now to Italy. I know we're jumping all over the place, but the Amalfi Coast. Come on, how fabulous! Look at this picture. I love this. It's like you're
it's such a
wearing the Amalfi Coast. Let me just put
it's
it along my
yeah.
shoulders. Show you it's like a
That,
scarf.
that I think is one of the best photos I think that was taken uh,
Oh,
by my waiter.
such a great picture. That
And
is
that's
such a
that's
great
right
picture.
off the ship, yeah. And that's
You're on the
exactly,
ship?
yeah, that was off the ship, yeah. And then
Nice.
we
Oh
took a
my
little
God.
tender ashore.
Yeah.
But that is what the Amalfi Coast looks like
And this
every
is
day.
you ashore.
Now that's on top of Gibraltar.
Oh, let me go back then because we're talking about Amalfi. I'm getting ahead of
Yeah,
myself.
but I
Yeah,
think
it did
that
look different. Yeah.
that sums Amalfi, because that's just exactly how it looks. And then you go into little towns,
Hmm.
and go into the hills, especially if you're going to Positano. If you're
It's
going to
beautiful.
Naples, okay, if you're sailing into Naples, and the big ships will always sail into
Mm,
Naples, I
mm.
definitely recommend the tour that goes to Positano. The drive there, and
Posadazi,
if you can
yes.
get Pompeii and Positano
Beautiful.
in one day, you could do both,
Mm-hmm.
and go
Mm-hmm.
have a bite to eat in Positano, because when you come
Mm-hmm. It's
upon the
beautiful.
hill and you're about to make that winding turn way up high on the
Mm,
hill,
it's
don't
beautiful.
pay attention to the driver, because you'll get scared, because it's winding
Don't
turns.
look.
But as you're approaching Positano, it's just, it's like music, and
Breathtaking.
your jaw just
Yeah.
drops down, and you
Yeah.
just take it in. Yeah. So
Mm.
that's Positano, just
I
breathtaking.
know. I've been a couple of times, and actually, I used to recommend a fabulous Italian jeweler there. I'm trying to think of the
Oh
name. We'll
wow.
put it in the when we do Positano. But another, and that is amazing, the bus. And you are 100% correct to take the ship's tour, because if there's an accident, there's just one road.
Yeah,
If you're on that
that's
road, you
where.
can't get off that road. If there's an accident
Mhm.
or something's happened, that bus ain't going anywhere.
Right.
Or if you're in a taxi, that taxi's not going anywhere. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Just get off the
Yep.
bus and enjoy it. Go to a cafe or something until they figure it out. But
Yep.
the ship will know that the bus is in a
Absolutely.
traffic jam and it'll wait for you. Another thing that you can do though is the ferry. We took the ferry as well another time.
Oh
The
yeah,
fast
you can do
ferry.
that to
Yeah, you can do
Capri
it
for
to
the day.
Capri for the
Yes.
day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Now,
haven't done that. I
interest.
always went.
Mm. So here's the thing about Capri. I didn't enjoy it. And it goes back to what you were talking about. It was so crowded. We were literally like this with people, and it was not pleasant. I didn't
No.
enjoy it at all. Like we were crammed on the streets. We couldn't,
Now,
and they just had too many tours there. And maybe they've done something about it now, but the ferries go in, the
when
tours
was
go in. It's
this?
horrendous.
Do you remember when you were there?
It was a while ago. It was before the pandemic, so it would have been in the 2019 or 2018. Has it
But do you
changed?
remember what time of the year you were there?
Okay. Well, height of summer. It would
Okay,
have
yeah,
been
right.
like June.
See,
Yeah,
Capri is
July.
like ultra luxury, like Saint Tropez. But
Yes.
and
Yes.
those are the times to avoid, And if you're going
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
but I mean, if you can afford to pay, for a hotel the night there, like why would you go in the
Oh,
summer? But well,
yeah,
I'm asking why, because
exactly.
you can afford to do whatever you want. But I mean, just really, you
Right.
just that's
Yeah.
a place to go to get away from everything.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I
I
think
didn't
at night,
understand it.
yeah,
Yeah.
in evening it might be better, because it could have been cramped with a lot of cruise ships that are just there for the
Well,
day.
it was.
And
It
a
was
lot.
all the cruise ship crowd.
Okay,
It was,
so see,
yeah.
then you have Capri at night, but I mean, you're going on a
Right.
cruise. I would not recommend.
I
Good
always
point you
told
said
people
that.
not to go. I said,
Naples
don't
is
go.
so much. Go have a pizza in Naples. Get lost in
Absolutely.
Naples.
Go to
My
Sorrento or,
so much. Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Positano. Definitely Positano. And also Rivello.
Yes. Oh
Rivello?
wow.
Up in,
I
yeah.
didn't see your
You been?
picture of that. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, for the first
Oh,
time.
I've
Rapallo
never been,
is.
but I've heard it's stunning.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on now to, and again, we're going to do more. So you went to Istanbul, one of my all-time favorites. I love Istanbul.
I have to
Beautiful
say,
place.
it has probably remained one of my top five cities in the world. For
Really?
all the cultures in the entire world come together. The four of them, the
Mm,
East, West, North, South. I haven't spent much time on the
yeah.
Asian side. I've always stayed in the
No, me
Muslim
neither.
side, which that's where you want to
Right.
go. That's where the old history is,
Yeah.
um, and magical place as well, and very
Something
crowded
about it.
again.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it does just for some reason it doesn't bother me. I think
no,
it's because it's not all tourists. It's like the people that live there just going about their daily lives and us and the tourists, but that's part of it. It's like New York, right? When you go
they
to
can
New
handle it.
York, it's just everyday people just getting on with their lives. Love it.
They can handle the tourism. They're used to
Hmm.
it. And I think you said something
Yeah.
very important there, because it really doesn't matter when you go there. You're going to get it
Yeah.
anyway. Um,
Yeah. Exactly.
um, Again, it's easy, but and a lot of people will hire their own guide, which I recommend,
Yeah.
uh, to see, the Blue Mosque and the Hagia Sophia and the
Yeah.
Cistern, which those are some of the top three places you can walk to very easily, and you can do it quicker. Sometimes the
Yeah.
tour could drag a little bit, because they're responsible
Mm.
for a lot of people. And, depending on everybody's pace, and especially when it's crowded, trying to keep up with everyone, it can
Yeah.
be tedious for some people.
So too
Because
much.
people
Yeah.
have different levels of able to walk, and you have to keep them
Hmm.
together. So it's just something to be
Yeah.
aware of because it's always crowded there. But and then if you
Hmm.
go into the bazaar, oh boy,
Oh
that's an
yeah, I've got a
experience.
picture of that. See, I'm too scared, and I do shopping. This is the world's oldest bazaar, right?
It's the oldest and the biggest in the world.
Wow.
And when
Gosh.
you go in and when you see it, it's just wow. Oh my gosh. And yeah, they don't hassle you, but I found Turkey just they were very friendly. They were very gracious, and
They are very
especially
friendly. Very
when
nice.
I was having a meal there, they were so thankful for us supporting their country. They really, I noticed that
Mm.
this last trip, and I had such an appreciation for that on how they went out of their way
Oh wow.
um, to give service. So
Mm.
I found that in
I've
other
always found
parts
it
of
wonderful.
Turkey,
Yeah.
yeah, in Kusadasi and
And the
in
food is
yes, yeah.
and the food is outstanding. I mean, fresh, delicious,
Yes, that's the thing.
gorgeous
It's
food. And
fresh. Get the
yeah,
local food,
yeah.
and it
Oh.
is. Well, that's why they all look so good. They really, you know.
Yeah, they do. That's true. They do. Yeah, they do. They do. Amazing. All right, so we're going to move on. Because again, we're going to do deep dive into all these puts another time. But we've got Gibraltar. This picture
Yes.
here. We talked about this. What did you think of Gibraltar?
Well, I've been to Gibraltar many times, but one time it's been years ago. In '89, I went up and saw the monkeys. um, you have to. They're adorable, but from a distance, and
Yeah.
it was a gorgeous day, as you can see.
Mm.
So plenty of shopping to do there too.
Oh,
Places to
loads of
eat and
shopping.
drink,
Yeah.
lots of beer, and but that was a great day to go to the top. And we
Yeah.
did the funicular after we got down. After I got down, I did it by myself.
Yeah.
I walked right into town, and I was able to walk right back to the ship.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's so
yeah.
easy and compact
Yeah. Yeah.
to go to.
Yeah, and again, this is where you need some cruise port advice. So if you're going on a cruise to the Mediterranean, you can book a free one-to-one with me. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to ask Tom. But I think we're building a picture here of this port, you book a tour. This port, you walk off the ship and you take the funicular yourself, Santorini,
Oh,
Gibraltar. We go
this
up,
is a
see the
one thing I
monkeys.
want to bring up. This is one thing I want to bring up
Oh, yeah.
because you can take the tour to go see the monkeys, but I saw the monkeys on my own. The thing is, the tour was less than half. Doing it on my own was less than half price in the tour just to take the familiar up and back.
Yeah.
And I saw I sent you a picture of a monkey real close.
I've
He was
got the
like the king
monkey.
of
I'm
the.
going to,
He was the king. You want to save that? Save it because
it
he
was
was like the
funny.
king of the mountain. I mean, the
Yeah.
attitude he gave, he was, oh my God, it was wonderful.
I saw
But
it. We're
that
gonna use it. We're
you
gonna
can
use
say.
it when we do Gibraltar.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna. I
All right.
love that picture. This monkey did not care whether you were filming him or not. He was so
Mm-mm.
whatever.
Prima donna. Yeah.
Prima
Uh-huh.
donna. He
He was the
was.
king of
He's
the
the
mountain.
king of the world. Yeah. And then real quick, we've got this wonderful video of not real quick. I don't know why I said that. This is Rhodes in Greece. So I'm curious because that's a tender port, right? Is that still a tender port?
No, it's not. You
Ah.
walk right off. Yeah, you can
Oh,
walk right into
nice.
the old city. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I have never taken a tour there, and there are some great tours that you can take.
There are.
Lendos, where you
Indoors,
walk
yes.
up 10,000 steps to this castle. And I wish I had done it now, but since my accident with the knee, that's something I'm just kind of being cautious about. I can go
Yeah.
hiking and whatever, but that's definitely a tour that if you have any mobility issues that you don't want to do. But
Right.
walking into the walled city is spectacular. The shops
Right.
there,
Yeah.
amazing, and the castle itself. Wow, that
Yeah.
to me looked more
Beautiful.
Game of Thrones than actually
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Dubrovnik
here's
did.
the
But yeah.
video. Let me just show this short video here. Here you go. just gorgeous. So
Yeah,
it's lovely. It's like shopping in the castle.
right. Yeah, but I'm telling you, you know how beautiful it was. You've seen crystal clear skies, um,
Mm,
because that's the time of the year in the summer when that humidity
mm,
hits. It doesn't look
mm.
like this. Okay, so
No.
just you need to be prepared for that. It just doesn't look like that because of the level of humidity. I would never go to Monemvasia in the summer because you won't get that clear look of the ocean.
Mm,
The humidity just stifles that. So you're better off in the big cities in the summer to
right,
just do that and stay there as opposed to these other places. Santorini, you'll still get the beautiful view, but it's going to be very hazy in the summer. But if you're
right.
there for the sunset, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you go. So,
Ken goes cruising is here. Hi Ken, how you doing? Good to see you on here. Ken goes cruising's got a great video with his wife Lindsay. And thank you for watching. Appreciate it. I hope you're going on a cruise soon. You could probably come on here and tell us more. Um, so yeah, and then we've got not finally, but we've got one more port here just to touch on, and I have a video. So let me show the video. It's Saint Tropez, and then I want to know what you thought about it. Here's the video.
set to music. It's perfect. Okay.
And so, oh, bless you.
That
And
wasn't
so,
Saint Tropez. That was Cannes.
oh,
That was on the
that was
return. That was on the return
oh,
from Saint Tropez. And that was beautiful. All of that
oh,
whole area is just
yeah.
gorgeous. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I, I I've only been to Saint Tropez once, and I wasn't sure.
That's
But
okay.
what
Now we
did you
know.
think of Saint Tropez? Now we know.
I
That
loved
was
it.
Cannes, everybody.
Oh my gosh, I loved.
Really?
I
I'm
actually went
sure you
shopping there,
did.
and I bought something that was half off. I was like so I was in heaven because I bought something in Central Pay. You know, of all the places where I
Oh
could
my
spend a lot of
gosh.
money,
You
and
have to treasure that. Yeah.
we had an amazing lunch
Nice.
there. Hamburger and French fries, the best I've ever had. It was so good.
Gosh, amazing.
It was so good. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, good
it put
food.
hamburger fries on a whole new level. But I thought, okay, look at the
Wow.
menu. I think this is what I can do. So, but it was lovely. Easy to walk around
Yeah.
for like 6, 7 hours, and you see it really.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, I liked Saint Tropez. I thought it was good. And they've got a market there.
it
I
was
don't
a
think it's
great
open
market.
every
Yeah.
day. Oh, was it there
Um,
open? It's a
it
great
was
market.
not. Yeah. No, it was. Yeah. it's it's worth doing. We took a boat there, so we
Right.
didn't have to drive the long drive. And I've been there twice. Once on the bus, which
So,
took forever, and the
right.
other
Uh,
on the boat. And that
so
that was a
was
ferry.
this your yacht that you
It was
took?
that one. This
Was
is the
this
one
it?
I wanted to buy. Yeah. Oh God. Uh, yeah, I had to get that one in.
Oh, funny.
Uh,
That's funny, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's a great whistle stop tour of some busy big ports that people need to really plan for, some great tips, and some of the smaller ports that are included with the smaller ships. So I just got a couple of questions. This is from the community. So I always ask the community of cruise shop savers in the group and also who are on the newsletter list what they would like to ask you. And so we've got a couple here. So which port surprised you the most in a good way? Somewhere you weren't expecting much from, but ended up loving? That's a great question. And that's from Sandra.
okay. You touched on two of them, Boscata and Monemvasia. Absolutely. Um, some of the
Just got a
places
little
that,
glitch. Oh,
um,
Monovasia. We
oh,
missed you.
yeah.
We lost you there for a second. Sorry, Tom.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
Uh,
just me, but I didn't hear the answer. Sorry.
okay. We had covered them. Obviously, the Greek islands because of the smallness of them. Boscata and Monemvasia in the Greek islands.
Mm,
Now,
okay.
there
Yeah.
they're not in these photos, but Croatia is a huge surprise to everybody. Croatia, I had no idea, had so many
Really?
ports and beautiful ports. Beautiful. I
Yeah.
wish right now I just
Yeah.
can't think of the names of some of them. Spitz, I remember that was one. But I wish I could remember the names of
Dubrovnik is the big one. Dubrovnik
Dubrovnik.
is the big
Yes,
one.
and
But
that's always
you
overrun
sent
with so
me,
much tourism. But I went. Did
yeah,
I send you the Game of Thrones photo?
you
Oh, I
did. And I'm
didn't
just
send
going to
that.
look
I
for
did.
it
Okay.
now. You
No,
did.
that was my
Okay.
last. We'll have to say because that is a beautiful video where I did the Game of Thrones tour, and I meant to send
Okay.
that to you. I guess I don't
We'll,
think I
we'll,
did.
we'll, we can cover it next time. Yeah, we'll cover it next time. So, okay, brilliant. So I have got a video here of Monemvasia, Greece, that I didn't show before. So here it is. Let me show it.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Notice how I
gorgeous.
always have to captivate myself first, and then do kind of a censor round. That's my new thing with videos now. Just kind of
Works.
show you what I'm surrounded by. Next time, moving forward, I'm going to have to give some talk about what you're seeing. And I just never really did, but I think that's the next step for me, to
Sure. Yeah.
show
Just talk to
everyone.
us. Yeah. No, but that's
Yeah,
fine. We can see it. And you know what you said about Monemvasia earlier. Actually, I want to book a flight there now because that's my kind of place. Quiet, nice
yeah.
little tavernas, lovely scenery, lovely sunsets, lovely sunrises.
Everybody,
That's my kind of place. Yeah.
yeah, everybody was
Okay.
just
I've got
stunned.
another question. Okay, I got another question. It's from Wendy. Were there any destinations where you discovered great local shopping, like so, for example, you mentioned it earlier, you bought some nice souvenirs, not souvenirs, but authentic goods. Which port had the most authentic, fabulous souvenirs?
Okay, if you take that train in Piraeus into the heart of Athens, that is going to be
Yes.
overwhelming with souvenirs.
Plaka.
And
Yeah,
Plaka, oh my gosh, yeah, that's the place to go. That number one right there.
that's a
That's
great
it.
place. Yeah,
You
I
will
love
be
it.
in heaven, and
Yeah.
you just have to make sure you make it back in time because you'll get
Yeah,
you'll get lost in a good way,
in
and
a good way. Yeah,
it's right below the Acropolis.
yeah,
And usually,
it's great.
when I was there, we stayed overnight, and so had dinner, and oh yeah.
It's
But that
great.
would be
And
the number one
Greek
place
food.
that has the most.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and the Greek food. Mwah, oh, fried cheese. Could eat that all day long.
yeah. I mean that
Saganak.
just stands out. There are other places, but that just stands out right away.
Yeah.
And okay,
Okay.
what was it?
Good to know. All right, last question, and this is from Paul. Overall, what advice would you give cruisers looking to add more unique or less traveled Mediterranean ports to their bucket list? Good question.
Okay, look for those luxury cruise lines like Viking,
Right.
Oceania, Silver Seas. The thing is, I'm going to tell you something. You do pay more, but there is so much that's included with what you
Right.
pay. You go on some of these bigger ships, and everything is going to be extra. If you're
Mm,
not part of that upscale
mm,
list,
mm,
you're going to pay for everything, and it almost comes to the same
hmm.
price as you would
It
if you're going
does.
ultra luxury. It depends on what you want, because to me, I'm more because I've done the big mama ships, the huge ones. I
Mm,
don't prefer those. I prefer the smaller, more ultra luxury with the spa treatment, the service that you get, tours a
hmm.
lot that are included, uh, and I see so much more that way. And it seems that the towns, and I'm saying towns that we go to, the villages that these ships will go to, the locals ingratiate the Viking people, because
Mm,
they know the
yeah.
Viking people, the oceanic people, because they really want that ultra experience of what it's like to be on the
Mm,
island. and
Hmm.
the history, uh, the local food. Some of these places will even bring you into their home, big home, and they'll serve you
Yeah.
dinner, and it's amazing. Oh
Gosh,
my gosh, yeah.
amazing
But those are
experiences.
only
Yeah.
on these smaller ships.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you want, but you're only going to see that on the smaller ships.
Yeah.
The big mama
Yeah.
ships, there's so
I'll
much
do
more to
it.
do. There is, but that's on the ship. Um,
Right.
and the Mediterranean is about seeing the ports,
Hmm. 100%
and
agree. Yeah.
so if that helps. I mean, I could go on and
That
on, but
helps a lot. Like all of this has been super helpful. And we're going to do a deeper dive. We're going to do a deep dive into these ports. And so we'll get those recorded. I'll get them edited. I'll upload the right videos for the right place. And it'll be brilliant. So we'll get on with that over the next couple of weeks, month. And we'll link
I
them
got
to this
3.
video. But
So
if you've
yeah.
enjoyed, yeah, but I just want, if you've enjoyed this video, please put something in the comments. Don't forget that you can book a cruise port one-to-one with me, where it doesn't have to be crazy, but we can tell you this port, take a tour, this port, you can walk ashore, so it doesn't matter. But Tom, I cannot believe how helpful you have been to this cruise audience today. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart
Oh,
for
I
your
hope so.
time. You're
Wonderful.
so kind. You're so kind.
My pleasure. I'm all in with you. So anytime, we'll keep doing this and add to it. And I hope it is helpful because there's so much to know before going.
So helpful.
And once you get there, how to
So
save
helpful.
and maximize. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. And we'll be back with more live videos. We're going to touch on Alaska coming up, and we're going to do more in the Mediterranean with my good friend Tom here. And whatever you do, have a great cruise. If you're thinking of booking a cruise, you booked a cruise and want advice, we're here to help. Totally free. Just get in touch. We just want to make sure you have a great cruise. That's all. Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.